Hello, everyone. We're going to study further. Live in day tight compartments. Live in day tight compartments. Let us understand it further. What does it mean? I was utterly exhausted. I was a Graves Registration non commissioned officer for the 94th Infantry Division. My work was to help set up and maintain records of all men killed in action, okay, missing in action, and hospitalized. I also had to help disinter the bodies of both the elite and the elite and also enemy soldiers who had been killed and hastily buried in the shallow graves during the pitch of battle. I had to gather up I had to gather up the personal effects of these men and see that they were sent back to parents or closest relatives who would prize these personal effects so much. I was constantly worried for fear we might we might be making embarrassing, yes, and serious mistakes. I was worried about whether or not I would come through all this. I was worried. I was worried about whether I would live to hold my only child in my arms, a son of 16 months, whom I had never seen. I was so worried and exhausted that I lost 34 pounds. I was so frantic, yes, that I was almost out of my mind. I was almost out of my mind. Yes, I looked at my hands. They were hardly more than skin and bones. I was terrified at the thought of going home, a physical wreck. I broke down and sobbed like a child. I was so shaken. Yes, I was so shaken that tears it welled. Yes, up every time I was alone. There was one period soon after the Battle of the Bulge started when I wept so often that I almost gave up hope of ever being a normal human being again. I ended up in an army dispensary. An army doctor gave me some advice which has completely changed my life. After giving me a thorough physical examination, yes, he informed me that my trouble was mental. Ted, he said, I want you to think of your life as an hourglass. I want you to think of your life as an hourglass. Okay, this is very important. Yes, and there are thousands of grains of sand in the top of our glass, and they all pass slowly and evenly through the narrow through the narrow neck in the middle. Nothing you or I could do would make more than one grain of sand pass through this narrow neck without impairing the hourglass. You and everyone else are like this hourglass. Okay? And when we start in the morning, there are hundreds of tasks which we feel that we must accomplish that day. But if we do not take them one at a time and let them pass through the day slowly and evenly, as do the grains of sand passing through the narrow neck of the hourglass, then we are bound to break our own physical or the mental structure. Okay? I have practiced that philosophy. I have practiced that philosophy ever since that memorable day that an army doctor gave it to me. Okay? One grain of sand at a time. One grain of sand at a time. One task at a time. One task at a time. Yes, very important lesson. One task at a time. Yes, that advice saved me physically and mentally during the war. And it has also helped me in my present position of public relations and advertising director for the Ad Crafters Printing and Offset Company in Singh. I found the same problems arising in business that had arisen during the war. A score of things had to be done in at once. Okay? And there was little time to do them. Okay? So that was how it was. We are low in stocks. We had new forms to handle, new stocks arrangements, changes of address, opening